And we are live in 3, 2, 1. Grab your hat and let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Positive Comedy and happy Thursday. So, today I have 1 hour to do as much scripting in my cat parkour game in Roblox Studio as possible. So, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I guess it wasn't last week, but the week before, we started a coin collection script. And we were on, let's see, when I look at so I'm using a tutorial that was provided by Roblox, which is this one right here. The link to this tutorial is in the Roblox Land Discord, so feel free to, or sorry, it's in the Positive Comedy Discord, but in the Roblox Land channel. So feel free to click on that tutorial in there if you want to check it out for yourself or follow along. So we're on the coin collection segment. And we pretty much made our coins already, put them all over the map. And then we got started off with the code. And I wanted to walk through the code step by step so that I completely understood each different aspect. And I also did not go over this tutorial before the stream because I want to learn live and I want to show every step of that process. So bear with me. I will make mistakes, but that's kind of part of the point. So, okay, we got as far as the services and the cooldown, and then we started the collect coin function. So if I go back to Roblox Studio here, I left some comments for me to remember. So let's see. The coin attribute enabled detects whether the coin exists in workspace or not. Okay, that's helpful. Also, hang on, I want to see if I can make this bigger at all. Maybe. Ah! I can. Perfect. Okay, so that was really funny. I was doing Command plus to make it bigger, and then I realized I was not on a Mac. So I had to do Control plus. I'm used to both, so sometimes I mix up the hotkeys. Okay. So, coin attribute enabled detects whether the coin exists in workspace or not. Okay, that makes sense. So, I think I'm actually supposed to add code there. Because if I look at the tutorial, so, aha, gotcha. So it's talking about I think it's talking about the get attribute method. Yeah, that does make sense, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Okay, and then when I look at my comments again, so I'm actually going to write the code beneath all the comments. So we need an if statement to check to make sure that the coin even exists in the workspace. Because otherwise, because I think when we collect the coin, then we set the attribute to disabled. I think we use that because we're trying to have a true-false variable to detect whether to collect the coin or not. And then we look at what hits the coin to be able to get the player. And then we change the transparency of the coin. Okay. And then the coins can be collected multiple times, which is why there's a cooldown. Okay, so if I write down the script from the tutorial, so coin get attribute, and then I'm setting that, or no, I'm getting the enabled attribute, I guess. Okay. I will admit, I think this is the first time I've actually used this method in Roblox Studio. I don't think I've ever used this before. So that's fun. I've written my own methods in the C programming language and C++ as well as Python, but I have not used this for Roblox Studio at all. Okay, so, I actually just want to check my knowledge real fast because I'm a little bit confused what the get attribute method is. So if I look in their explanation, I want to see if they included it. We got get children. Aha, okay. Detects whether the coin is enabled. Every instance has, every instant. Okay, so I believe every instant is pretty much almost every game object in Roblox Studio. Okay, so every instance has an enabled Boolean, which just means true or false, attribute that defines whether or not the object exists in the 3D world. You can get instance attributes with the get attribute method. Okay, so I guess it has an attribute called enabled that I need to get. I think. We're going with it. All right, perfect. Also, hello underscore Alex, welcome back. Yeah, attributes are pretty fun, huh? They're, this is honestly my first time using them in Roblox Studio though, which is kind of funny, and hilarious, given that it's been, I think, over a year. So that's fun. Okay, so if I can get the attribute enabled, then I'm gonna go ahead. So I'm gonna write this other part of the code from the tutorial where all it's doing is I'm looking at what hit the, I think I'm looking at what hit the coin. I actually renamed this because I think I just renamed it part. Yeah, in the parameter I just named it part. Okay, character equals part.parent, which actually I want to go back to that explanation later. Okay, let's get the player though. Local player equals players colon get player from character method, which is honestly one of my favorite methods of all time, just because I feel like as soon as you understand this method, you can pretty much do almost anything you want with player collisions, which is very nice and fun. Also in the chat too, I'm really curious because it's kind of been a while since I've done a Roblox Studio stream, so I'm really curious if you've worked on any Roblox Studio projects recently that you want to share. Feel free. All right, so I'm using the get player from character method to be able to get my character object because we figured out 2 weeks ago, well, we kind of reviewed it, that my player has its own player object in the game and I need to access that. Okay, so if I'm able to access that, then I'm going to change the transparency of the coin, which is easy. Since it's a part, it just already has the transparency property. Okay, and now I can go ahead and set the attribute of my coin, and I'm setting the enabled attribute to false. I honestly really like this approach a lot better, because before I used to just make a variable called Boolean and then set it to true and then set it to false later, and honestly it looked like a mess. So I'm actually really happy about using the get attribute method because that kind of makes my code a little cleaner. Okay, so in the chat, underscore Alex says, today I made a script to make the starry rune ant tears. Okay, I really apologize if I mispronounced that. Allow you to climb through roofs like it did in 2016. Oh, yes! Antlers. Okay, cool. I was pretty sure. Oh my gosh, my eyes, for some reason, thought that was an I, and it's definitely an L. Dang. Okay, I definitely need a bigger screen, apparently. So yeah, chat says, today I made a script to make the starry rune antlers allow you to climb through roofs like it did in 2016. Okay, that's actually really cool. Wow. Dang. That's really fun. Have you, I'm curious too, have you been using module scripts? Because I remember, I think it was a while ago, I remember it being mentioned that module scripts were finally understood, which I was really happy to hear about. So I'm curious, did that end up being useful for this game as well for you? Okay, perfect. So I'm pretty sure I got the player collision part down, I think. So it looks like this is, yeah, looks like this is the method that's going to detect whether my coin can get collected, get access to my character, and then make the coin invisible. Okay, perfect. I'm going to copy this too. I'm actually going to put it at the top of my function so that I can keep track of what the function does. So this is collect coins. Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, also what's the date today? It's 8/1. August 1st. My goodness. Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. And then chat says, I haven't been using any new module scripts, but I've been reading modules. Hey, that's still progress. That's fantastic. All right, perfect. Okay, so I want to go back to the tutorial real fast. Let's see. Oh, that's not a tutorial. That's definitely my face. Whoops. Okay, so it looks like in this code, so I have to set up, so I have my event handler, which that makes sense. I kind of just view it as a function definition, but that's just because I'm so used to traditional programming in other languages. So, but I feel like for this, I think I do agree with them with calling this an event handler because it does I mean, it is a function that handles events, which is literally an event handler. So might as well use advanced vocabulary while you can, right? Okay, setting up event listeners, which is pretty much the function call. Okay, it looks like it has a for loop though, which is kind of interesting. Oh, because we have multiple coins, and so we have to. That's really nice, actually, because otherwise, I think you'd have to add the script to every individual coin, which would not be good. Maybe. I'm honestly kind of guessing. I might not be entirely correct there. That might have been a 50% correct number. Okay, so it looks like it's using a for loop though to set the enabled attribute of the coins to true, and then if they're touched, it has an event listener that detects whether it's touched or not. Okay, let's look at their code explanation. I want to see how much I understand this correctly. Okay, so let's see, loops through the coins. Loop through each of the coins using general iteration. Well, that's pretty obvious. Connect the handler to the event. Okay, in each iteration of the loop, the coin is enabled by default, so it's visible in the 3D world during the initial start of the experience. The onCoin touched handler method is also connected to the touched event of the coin so that it runs every time the event occurs. When the engine detects a touch, it also passes in the object that touched the object other part. Okay. That part was actually kind of a lot. So touch event of the coin set, it runs every time the event occurs. When the engine detects a touch, it also passes in the object that touched the object. I feel like that part is really important. Wish I can draw on this. Oh well. So I feel like that was something that took me forever. Like when I first started to learn Roblox Studio, it took me forever to understand. All right, well, let's go ahead and add that to our script real fast. I'm also going to call this an event handler because I want to remember that for scripting purposes. Okay, and now we got to do the collect coins event listener. And then also for any other members in chat, if you just joined, don't forget in our Discord, the tutorial that I'm using from Roblox, I put the link in the Roblox Land Discord. So feel free to check that out. Okay, so I have the event listener. Let's go ahead and make a for loop. I'll admit, I honestly want to get better at memorizing how to write for loops in Lua because, or I guess Luau. Luau, okay. They're super similar, but I actually am I am still a little bit confused though on whether this is Lua and if it uses luau in the background, or if this is luau and it uses Lua in the background. I actually have to still go fact check that because I'm not 100% sure, because when I was first learning, I remember everyone was saying this was Lua, and then the next thing I knew in the documentation it's all saying luau, I think luau. That's the other thing. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it either. It's either luau, luau. I know I can't be the only one. If I am, bonus points. Okay. So let's see. So yeah, I'm doing the for loop. Okay, let's set the attribute. I'm going to do tab 2 just to do the autofill in, because I only have, I think 40 minutes. No, 45. Yeah, I got about like 45 minutes before we have our Minecraft party, which I'm super excited about actually. Okay, we're going to set that to true because, oh, now I understand the event handler more. Okay, because before I was super confused. about why this condition could possibly be true. Because when we were writing it, I was thinking, well, we never did anything to the enabled attribute, so what in the world? But that actually makes sense, because before this function is even entered, we set it to true down here, and so then when it's entered in the next line that I'm about to write, it goes back up here, and it looks at the enabled function. Okay, or not the enabled function, the enabled attribute in the collect coin function. Okay, well that makes a lot more sense, because I remember 2 weeks ago that was really confusing me, and that was really hilarious at how much it was confusing me. Okay, so when the coin is touched, we're going to connect that to our function, which we called, wait a minute. Okay. So other part is a oh, wait a minute. I'm just going to call it part, just so that's all the same. Because I think this is the parameter that we're passing in. And then we put the name of our function, I believe. So collect coin. Yes. Part coin. Okay. Let's see. Is this, for some reason, there's a blue line in front of my U, and I don't really understand why. That's really funny. Did I not, maybe? Oh, that was my own marker. That's actually really funny. Okay, cool. I was thinking syntax error, question mark? No, it's just my marker that I forgot to erase. Epic fail. Okay, so yeah, this looks good. So, I actually want to look at the explanation. Actually, let me see if I can guess first before I look at the explanation. So, okay. So we're detecting to see if the coin is touched, and then we're connecting it to a function. And it looks like, I'm honestly really confused about this part. I understand this call here. But I'm a little confused about why we need this part. So let's actually check this out. Let me see. I want to see if they have that explanation. Oh, I don't think they do, actually. I don't think, because I'm not seeing it. Let's see. An iteration of the loop. Nope. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. No, never mind. Well, maybe. I guess, okay, I do get that having that parameter. Okay, because I think the touched event, when that touched event runs, it does pass in an object that touched the coin. And I think that is the parameter next to function. And then we get to choose whether we use that same parameter when we make the function call. So that kind of makes sense, I think. Interesting. So, okay, so I'm thinking when touched, when that event is triggered, it passes in. So like when that event is triggered, that means my character touched the coin. Let's say it was my arm, which means that my arm, which I'm loving drawing on here, by the way. This is fun. So that's my arm. We're gonna say that I think my arm is what gets passed in, and then I can choose whether to pass the same object into my collect coin call. That's my guess, because I'm not seeing the explanation on the tutorial, but just based off of what I know currently, that's my best guess. Best educated guess, hopefully. Mostly educated. Just a little bit. Okay, so that's fun. Okay, cool. I think that is actually the rest. That's at the end. I just did Control S to save. Command S if you're on a Mac. So yeah, because it looks like on the tutorial now it's just play testing, which is fun. Cool. Let's give it a shot. Okay. So I have the little purple coins. Let's see. I think my favorite part about this cat island is the whiskers. They're so fun. Okay, let's go ahead and play here. I'm excited. I'm excited to move on to the next part of the tutorial too. Because I feel like every time we stream this, we keep going faster and faster, which is kind of funny. Okay, my character is invisible for some reason, which is kind of, that might be a problem. Yeah, it's definitely invisible. Well, we're gonna go with it. Ah, oh my gosh. Well, hey, it looks like that worked, I think. Oh, there's my character. Woo! I'm glad I used the center of gravity to my advantage. Okay, now can I get the... Let's see if I can get this coin. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, I don't know if I even put anything in the output window to detect this. No, I did not. To be honest, I don't know what script this is part of. Apparently, I have a rogue script going on. Oh shoot, I just went backwards. Wow, look at me! Okay. Oh good. Yay. Oh no, I missed that one. Come on, come on. Oh, seriously? Wow, this one's actually kind of hard. I'll admit. Oh, it's like I'm jumping right. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was actually really fun, I'll admit. Oh, jeez. Okay, I got that one. And I want to get that last one, but I actually think I programmed it so that it's impossible to get that last one at the moment. Yeah, it's not possible. I need to fix that. But it's because I wanted to add something special at the end, and I haven't decided what it is yet. Okay, cool. So the coin functionality is working fantastically. And I'm happy because this code is super clean. So, wow, this is epic. The only thing is I completely forgot to implement a cooldown. So I feel like I should probably do that. Okay, so let's do task.wait, so it's more efficient. I think, yeah, I have cooldown. Oh, that is not how you spell cooldown. Maybe in the cat dimension, but not this dimension. Okay, then I changed the transparency back. Back to 0, and then change the attribute. It's not how you spell it, but it's close enough. I'm setting that back to true. Okay. That looks good. Cool. All right, Control S to save. I actually think it might save when I just run the game, but I'm not taking any chances. Okay, I just want to make sure that the cooldown works correctly, and then I'll move on. Okay, cool, because it looks like I got about 35 minutes left. Woo! This is great. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah! Whew, I was trying not to count faster and fast. Oh, I just collected it again. Well, it definitely works. Okay. I'm actually really happy about this. This is great. Okay, cool. So let me go back to that tutorial, which again, the tutorial is on our Discord chat if you want it. Okay. So I'm just going to click next. Ooh, okay, record and display player data. Okay, I'm actually really excited about what we learn here because I want to, at some point, implement it on the Turkeyville game that we started last year. Because I did implement a coin collection part, but it is very buggy at the moment, and I need to fix it, because I think you could just get infinite coins, but it doesn't save the data. So every time you log out of the game and come back, all the coins are gone. So I'm curious to see if this tutorial actually goes over how to save your data, because that would be really important for a game. So I also like the just out of reach comment from the chat, by the way. That was really funny. That one coin though, that was pretty tough. But I'm very happy about it though, because I definitely want players to feel like they have to think about their jumps. So pretty happy about that. Okay. So anyways, oh yeah, also the note in the chat too about using the data store service. Yeah, that is absolutely how you do it. I remember I remember trying it in Turkeyville though, and there was a step that I was missing, and I'm not sure what it is yet, because I was using data store service, but I think I like just ran out of time, so I need to visit it again, to figure out what's going on there. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm already looking at this again. I didn't look at this tutorial beforehand. I'm totally learning live right now, so this is a module script, which I'm actually super happy about because maybe we can reuse it throughout our game. Okay. Wow, this looks great. Okay, cool. So record and display. I have a feeling this might look into leader stats, maybe? Question mark? Yes. Okay. This will be review. If you're if you've been watching this channel for a while, like for a year, this will definitely be review, but that's okay. I need the review anyways. Okay, cool. So, however, I don't know if I've done this with a module script yet, though. I think in the past I've done it with just a server script, I think. I'm actually not 100% sure how I did it. Well, anyways, I'm going to exit out of this script. Okay, so I just realized none of you could see that. Well, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to add a module script, call it player data, and then replace it with this code. Okay, and then we'll step through and understand what all that's doing. But let's just get that far. Okay, so server storage, we're going to go ahead and add a module script. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and rename it to player data. Okay, awesome. And then I'm reading in the chat too. So chat says there's also, oh wait, chat says, or if you want to write it in a cursed way, data store service. Like just game bracket data store service instead of game : get service. Oh man, that definitely don't recommend, but it is kind of fun to play around with though. Chat also says there's also public modules like profile service or legacy data persistence that make data stores easier, I think. Okay, that I actually haven't looked into, so that definitely sounds very intriguing, especially profile service. I honestly love playing around with new things and trying to figure out how to break it and how to make it useful all at the same time. So that's super cool. Thanks for telling me about that. I hope others from chat can learn from that too. Okay, so it looks like the module script by default has a module, like it has the module named. But when I look at I'm looking at their code example here. So yeah, they just have their whole module named player data. Beep. Oh. And then they have I think they just made their own attribute inside of player data. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so they have the module name. I actually feel like this wouldn't be called well, it might be called an attribute. There might be another name for this though that's escaping me, but anyways, player data.coin key name equals coin, so it sounds like I don't know. This honestly almost looks like a struct to me in C++, but I'm going to ignore that for now because that might not be correct. Okay, so then it makes something called player data, which looks like a totally different object. Interesting. Oh, this is hilarious. I was trying to figure out how to do a block quote 2 weeks ago, and I was adding extra dashes that weren't needed. I think that's what was going on. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. And then we've got default player data. That's a whole object in and of itself. We've got some local functions going on. Okay, so we have some getter functions, and then this is interesting. Okay, so we have a get data. Wow, there's actually a lot going on here. Okay, so it gets the player's user ID so that we can tie it to a specific player. And that's actually exactly what that's doing. So that's getting data from a specific player via their user ID. And then the player data.get value, I'm trying to figure out the difference between this. So, because you have a key. That's weird. Okay, I actually don't understand that yet. But I think, because every time I hear key, I usually think of password. Like when you're trying to make a transaction, you need a key to do that. But I don't know if that's what's going on here. It could be an identifier, like maybe trying to identify a specific player. Maybe the key is, but then what's player? That's, something's fishy there. Okay, I mean, I don't know if it's fishy, but it's not clear yet. Okay, and then we update the value. You also need a key to do that as well. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like the idea is that there is an old value already, which might be 0 when you don't have any coins. And then when you update it, you have to get the original data, replace it, and then update it. At least that's what it's looking like. Okay, let's look at their code explanation, and I want to walk through this. So, okay, declaring the data structures. Okay, so the module script begins with a declaration of an empty table called player data, which is returned at the end of the script. It also contains accessor methods to get and set values in the table. Okay, that actually makes sense. So we're making a table that's has different values in it and stuff. Interesting. This honestly really reminds me of a structure in, I think it is the same thing, because in a structure in other programming languages, it's full of functions and it's full of variables, but it's only specific to that structure, also known as a struct. So interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Roblox. I'm going to make this bigger again. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to call this player data. That's going to be the name of my structure. And then we'll return player data. Okay, cool. Now we're going to add a bunch of fun stuff. And then, oh, there's something, I actually wanted to document this too. What in the world is this? Okay. I found my rogue script. That does not belong here. Sorry, goodbye. Okay, server script service, collect coins. Oh yeah, that's all I really wanted to do. Okay, so I believe this script, actually, what does the script do in the end? I think it just, oh yeah, it just displays player data. Okay, so I'm going to do displays how many coins, I'll keep it lowercase, how many coins each player collected. Bam and a boom. Okay, cool. So, all right, I guess I'm just going to add a, attribute, I guess. To be honest, I'm a little confused about what this is for, but I guess we'll find out. Oh, maybe this is for leader stats. This might be. Like for the leaderboard. I'm going to put a comment here. For the leaderboard? Question mark? Because I really want to understand every part of this code. Okay, so now we're going to have local player data, which, okay, this part confuses me because this almost looks like a structure in a structure, which is weird, especially since it has like the same name but with a lowercase p. That's just, I don't know how I feel about that. I just feel like that just opens the door to so many problems, like user error problems with the, well, programmer user error problems. The players won't really care, but the programmers will. So, okay, let's look at the code explanation. Okay, it actually talks about it here. So the player data table contains comments that describe the structure of the table, which makes the code easier to understand. Okay. In this case, a player data table contains a user ID and a corresponding field named coins that represents the amount of collected coins for that player. But it's empty though. You can tell I have so many issues with this. Okay, so I'm filling it with comments, but like, why? I'm gonna question that. Oh, yeah, I questioned it so hard that I just wiped my face off of the screen. Yeah, because do we even use... Okay, wait. Do we even use player data later? I mean, I'm sure we do. Let's see where we use player data. Oh. Okay, I think we add stuff to it later. I guess I'm a little confused why we just leave it empty. Huh. Okay. Well, maybe it'll be clear. Let me look at the code explanation again. Okay, defining a local data accessor. I'm super confused. Wait a minute. Is that even in this one? Yes, it is. Okay. So this is the accessor. Default player data. Wow. I'll be honest, I've never used an accessor before, so we're doing good. Okay, cool. I don't know if I entirely understand that. I don't. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't get it yet. Okay, let's read it real fast. So get data is a local function that retrieves data for a specific player data table. If a player hasn't collected a coin, it returns a default player data table, which is this guy. To ensure that every player has some data associated with them, a common convention is to create simple, public-facing functions that offload logic to locally scoped functions that do the heavy lifting. Okay, that's actually fun. So that's nice. Okay. So I think this just initializes everyone's number of coins to 0. Which makes sense, because otherwise if nobody collected coins and there's just blank data, that's not helpful, right? That actually makes a lot of sense, because we also had coin key name. That's like a attribute, which I'm pretty sure is probably going to end up being used for the leaderboard. Not 100% sure, though. We will find out. So yeah, we have this coin key name, which we think might be used for leaderboard, but we don't know yet. Okay, but this actually makes sense, because now I would just add player data, which is the whole module, or I guess I'm going to call it a structure because I feel like that's going to make more sense. So this is a player data structure. There's a variable inside of it called coin key name, and we're setting it to 0. Now this part, oh yeah, no, this part actually makes sense because yeah, we're going into the player data and there's a, I don't know if I agree with this being called coin key name, but well, I guess I get it, because when you're using a key, oh, maybe that's what the key is for. Maybe the key is to look for the certain type of data, because technically the player can have all kinds of data. It can have health stats, it could have the coins, it could have furniture that they've bought, it could have cats that they own, and you need a key to figure out what data you're actually changing, I guess, so that you don't have to like retype it every single time. Because then when you make edits to your code, if you just have one variable name, you could just change that one variable name. So like I could just change this, but I don't have to change, or well, I guess actually, yeah, if I have it like this, then when I change this, it changes the value for every time this pops up. Whereas if I just used this everywhere, that's not good. So that's just something to note. But anyways, okay, so I guess I'm setting coins equal to 0 here for the very beginning when the game begins. Okay, cool. That actually was not super obvious, so I'm going to write that down. Sets every player's coins to 0 at beginning of game. Okay. Okay, cool. Let me go back to the tutorial real quick. Okay, neat. So we did that. So now I guess the other thing, I actually did this wrong. Oh man, oh man. Okay. Apparently I was rebelling and put this inside of player data when it was actually supposed to go inside of something completely different, I think, because when I look at this, oh boy, yeah, if I look at this, yeah, see, I'm rebelling. I'm rebelling a little too much. Default player data is going to be different than player data, which is definitely obvious. That makes sense, actually, because, yeah, we don't... Okay, I'm pretty sure this is going to change later, but I'm going to leave it blank for now because I want to rebel and say, why is this blank and full of comments? Okay, fun. I also just really wanted to write a comment in all caps just for the fun of it. Okay, cool. So I almost rebelled and just put it above this, which is bad. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do local default player data. I also might end up renaming some of this because I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, but, well, I see why it's named the way it is. I just don't know if I want it to be named that way for my game, but that's up to the, I mean, that's always up to the game creator's decision or the team's decision, depending on how many people are, you know, working on the game, etc. Okay, perfect. Okay, so default coins, that's going to be default coins to 0, and I don't know why it's deleting stuff, but oh well, it is what it is now. Okay, perfect. So now this, I think I forgot to paste what I had deleted, so let me add that back. Coin key name. So yeah, this is where we're just setting the default number of coins to 0 at the beginning of the game. Okay, now we need a function, which I'm not sure what this does yet. But it looks like, okay, so if I go back to the tutorial, looks like I have 18 minutes left too, so I'm gonna see how speedy I can go. Okay, so I have the get data function, and it looks like, okay, so it has the data variable, and it's setting it equal to a value, but it's looking like it's making it choose, which I haven't done that before in Lua, so okay, fun. So okay, okay, it's turning the player.userid to a string. That makes sense because it is an integer to begin with, which would be a problem because to look into player data, you have to give it a string and not a number. So that makes sense why we're changing the user ID to a string or default player data. Okay, so it looks like it's choosing between setting the data to something new or setting it to the default, depending on what's happened. I think player.userid probably wouldn't exist if a player didn't touch the coin, but I'm not 100% sure why that's the case. Okay, but that actually makes sense. And then it looks like we set data. Oh, now that's confusing actually, because if the data ends up being set to this player data to string thing, then why do we set it again to data? That's a little odd. Okay, let's see if there's an explanation for this. Okay. Get data is a local function that retrieves data for a specific player data table. Okay, so if a player hasn't collected a coin, it returns a default player data table. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I assume there's probably going to be code later that implements that, though, because we definitely do not have that implemented. Okay. If a player hasn't collected a coin, it returns a default player table, or player data table, to ensure that every player has some data associated with them. A common convention is to create simple public-facing functions that offload logic to locally scoped functions that do the heavy lifting. Okay, so I'm glad we read that again, because the first time reading it, definitely did not click. I don't know if that clicked for anybody else. If it did, I apologize, but sometimes you have to read it, look at the code, read it again, because sometimes it just doesn't click the first time. So, okay, I guess that makes sense. I still don't really quite understand, though, why, well, I understand why the or is there, But I don't understand how the code knows, how the program knows whether a default player table is returned or not. And I think that that is one thing about scripting versus like a scripting language versus a programming language, is that there is quite a bit that is like done under the covers that you can't see. And I really like to see what's happening under the covers because then I can mess with things more. But with this might be like an automated thing, but I'm not 100% sure. Well, I'm gonna go with it for now, but because I'm hoping that as we continue the program, I'm hoping it'll become more clear. But I am a little bummed that there's not like any comments or anything that explain what's happening there. Because yeah, I get line 6 in the tutorial, but the line 7 part is a little bit weird. It almost might be a good idea to add print statements to see what's going on there. Okay, anyways, so I'll make a function inside of this module. We're gonna call it getData. And then we're gonna go ahead and put player in here, which I guess makes sense. Okay. All right, we're gonna get some data and we're gonna set it equal to player data, which is actually the module itself. That's the whole structure. Yeah, and it's the one that is blank and full of comments at the moment. So yeah, it's that structure. It's the structure that I wanted to rebel against. Okay, so we're gonna change the player user ID into a strings and not a number so that we can access it in the player data. And then if it looks like if a default, I almost wonder if I'm misunderstanding what this OR is actually doing. Like maybe this line, I'm just a little confused about how it chooses. Like if it's choosing between this option and this option, or if it's actually adding two options. But I feel like if it was, I would think we would have a comma instead of or, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it's either choosing between the two or it's actually adding both of them as options inside of the data, but not 100%. So interesting. Okay, I definitely want to investigate that more, but let's go ahead and write it down for now. So we've got player data. Okay, so it looks like we write the same thing. Which this part confuses me because it almost seems like I feel like there's got to be a way to write this a little bit better because we're reusing the same line from above. Like, sorry, I'm having trouble using my arrow keys. So, I mean, this is literally the exact same. And it's being set to the exact same variable. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave a comment here. Oh, that's not how you leave a comment. Okay. What is actually going on here? Like, what is, okay. Are these two options being added? Tested? Etc.? Guess we'll find out. Also, if chat has any guesses too, feel free to share. Even if they're not correct, you can still free to share them because I'm open to all ideas. Okay. So, yeah. I'm honestly loving this experience, by the way. It's really fun to not look at a tutorial and then just go and then try to pick it apart into pieces. And it's also really nice because I remember one time when we were streaming, we did find a typo once, and that was a fun experience. It did add some time to the stream, but it was still fun. Okay, and it looks like I have about 10 minutes left. So we're gonna keep going here. Okay, so I'm looking at my get data, so I'm comparing it with the tutorial, which is in our Discord chat if you want to look at it. So, okay, I think I forgot to return data. Return data. So I'm putting something in. Okay, I think something we could all agree on is I'm putting something in data and I'm returning the data. That's literally what it's doing. So I don't get this part, but like line 21, I don't understand yet. But I kind of understand this, which it's probably why I don't understand this part, because I only half understand this part. I've just never set a local variable equal to something with or in between. I've only used or for conditional statements inside of, like for a conditional option inside of a if statement. That's the only time I've used or. I've never used it for a variable before. However, wait a minute. Actually, I think there is an equivalent to this in C and C++ programming. It might be the question mark syntax. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just brainstorming here. That might be. Now I'm gonna have to get my textbook out and check. We'll see. I'm gonna table that for now, but since I only have 8 minutes now, but I'm actually okay. Let's write this down because I'm really curious. Is this equivalent to the question mark operator in C and C++? And I don't mean the function itself. I just mean the or statement. Oh, I don't like that. No. Oh, no. Oh, the spacebar's not working. Oh, shoot. Okay. I wonder if it's because I'm using arrow keys. Nope. Okay, well, that's fine. Well, I don't feel like writing that whole thing, so I'm just gonna add another line. Okay, so is the or case equivalent? There we go. I just found a cheat. Okay, cool. That was hilarious. So yeah, I'm gonna admit I'm not super confident with this idea, but I want to investigate it because I'm super curious. And I've actually wondered what that was for in C and C++ too for a long time. So, because I've just never had the reason to use it. I've seen it in various programs, but I never had the reason to use it. Which is why, going over tutorials is fun, because then you get to see code that you don't usually write, and you get to see other approaches to things, and you also want to question it too, because sometimes, I feel like how to write code is always it's an ever-evolving process. So I always like to take what I learned from like tutorials and stuff and then try to add to it. Okay, so I've got 6 minutes left. Okay, so it looks like I have my local data accessor. And to be honest, I want to look more into what an accessor is because I'm not 100% sure. I know it accesses data. That's the main thing I learned about this. Okay, so let's move on. So now we're defining public data accessors. So if I go back to the tutorial. Okay, so get value and update value are public-facing functions that other scripts that require this module script can call. In our case, the coin service uses these functions to update a player's coin collection data whenever the player touches a coin. That's easy enough. To be honest, I have a feeling a lot of this is going to make a lot more sense when we actually implement these functions that we're making, because right now there's no way it's going to know what to do. So I have a feeling there's more to come. Okay, which might clear up a lot of confusion. Oops. Okay. So public data accessor. So we're accessing public data, I'm guessing. Okay. So, what's interesting to me too, that it doesn't have local. It's just declared as function instead of local. Which, that actually does have a big effect on what can get accessed. I think this means that only the module script can access this, but other scripts can't access it. Whereas I think local function, other scripts can access it. But I'm just guessing. I remember learning this, and it's kind of been a while. But I think... But I'm a little confused because this is actually a public data accessor, so I might have this backwards. Oh, wait a minute. I think I do have it backwards. I think that's why it's called local. I think local, you can't... Other scripts can't access it, but when it just says function, I think other scripts can access it. Well, we'll see if I'm right. We'll see. But that would make sense given that this is literally supposed to be public information. Okay. Okay, I'm just doing player data.get value. So you have the player and you have the key, which the key is necessary because you're trying to find the value of a certain property. So I'm pretty sure key is going to end up being coins. Because otherwise there could be other values, like again, how many cats they own. Okay, cool. So I'm going to return get data, player, and then key. So I think, now that's actually interesting. I didn't know that you can access, oh, I guess I did know this. I didn't realize, I'm used to this being the case, like, with structures, but player isn't... I guess player is a structure, I think. It's a type of structure. I think we can argue that. Okay, so... Yeah, apparently if you pass in key, so if you pass in coins, then you can get the data of the player. Now, this is the local function that we just made up here. So yeah, I'm pretty sure local function can only be accessed within the module script, but I think this function right here that we just made, this get value function, I think other functions can use it. I'm like 90% sure, but I have been 90% sure before and it didn't end up well. But you know what? We're gonna see if it gets proven otherwise. We might run out of time though, but that's okay. So update value, this is another one that we're using. So we have the player, the key, and then the update function, which I actually don't think we wrote. I'm not seeing it. Okay, well, I'm going to trust it for now. Okay, so we're making a data object. We're using the get data. Okay, we're using the get data function again, which we made up here. Okay, so get data player. Perfect. Okay, and then local old value equals data key. Okay, that makes sense. So I think essentially what we're doing is we're getting all of the data from the player. We're not separating it out or anything. And then we're getting the old value. So let's say the old value was 1 coin because I've only collected one coin. We're going into the data, which has all the data of the player, and then we're looking for the coin name. The attribute name, I guess. I'll call it an attribute, I guess. And then we're looking for the, actually, yeah. I'm actually a little confused how it gets the value of the coins, but okay. I'm going to question that. Let's see, because then we set a new value equal to update function, which is just a function that we passed in as a parameter, which is kind of nice because I think we can pass in technically anything there and it'll run with the old value. Okay, so without looking at any of the other code from the other tutorial, I'm guessing that we're going to make a function that takes in coins and then updates the value in there, because pretty sure it doesn't have the number of coins here since we just did data. I mean, if key is in fact like this, then we don't have the actual number yet. Interesting. Okay, well, let's finish this up. So I've got data, key. We're going to set that equal to new value. And then we're going to return new value. Okay, now this is interesting. So now, oh, this is so weird. Okay, because okay, the reason why I'm confused is we're setting a new value. So whatever function we end up writing in the future that uses update function, it's gonna get the value of the coins that we have. So let's say we collected a second coin, and it's gonna put that. Now I was assuming this would put like a number value in it, but then here it's just data bracket key, which I thought would be like data colon coins, like this. I don't know why it's deleting all my code, but it's fine. And then setting that, but to do that though, I would think you would have to do like dot value or something, or set value, you know, something. But we're not doing that, so I might be wrong about key. I guess we'll find out, because again, we haven't implemented any of this yet, which does make a big difference. Okay, I'm going to do Control S to save. Okay, cool. I actually think this is a pretty good stopping point. So far in this code, we have quite a bit of functions. So in this module script, we ended up we were following the tutorial made by Roblox, and we're trying to set up a bunch of different data accessors so that we can update the value of the coins of the players. We have not implemented a leaderboard yet. I think I'm definitely going to want to do that next time. But for now, we definitely have a Minecraft party to look forward to. So let me actually see if my friend... Oh, actually, I think my friends are here. So let me go ahead and say hi to them real fast. I'm going to get everything set up for a Minecraft party, which we have pretty much about an hour for. And I think I saved everything. Oh, actually, before I do anything, I'm going to go ahead and save my Roblox game. Boom. Okay, cool. And we're going to see if Lumi and Teak are here. Which it looks like they are. So let's say hi. Hey, Lumi and Teak.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. My
Oh,
classes finish tomorrow for the summer, and I'm so excited.
oh no way. Fantastic. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's
I don't think
amazing.
Teak is here yet, though, I will say.
Oh. Oh, that's right. I definitely I read my own bot as a player. That is definitely not Teak. That is definitely not a person. So okay, well, we can go ahead and get started for now. Hang on, I'm gonna go ahead and load up Minecraft real fast. And this is gonna be
Sounds
on
good.
Bedrock. And if there's anybody in the chat who wants to play a lot, at least like play along. I'm not actually sure. We're gonna get like thrown into a random server, so that's gonna be fun. But if
Oh,
anyone's curious about what this event, like how to find it, if you load up Minecraft Bedrock Edition on the home page, which hang on, let me exit Roblox Studio. So yeah, on the home page, there's a whole. Oh, hang on. You can't see it, can you? It's just a gray square. There it is. So yeah, on the Minecraft Bedrock homepage, you just have to click on the join the event button. And then you just click join
oh my
now.
gosh. That's so cute.
I know, right? Is this your first time doing this too, Lumi?
Yes, it is, but I used to religiously watch MCCs back in like 2020, 2021.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, I love watching that. They're so much fun. I didn't think they would ever release the maps. Also, that's so cute. I recognize a bunch of the people on the little screen.
Oh my gosh. Okay, also, before I forget, I'm actually going to go ahead and stop the stream real fast, and then I'm going to start it up again, so that I can update all the titles and the thumbnails. So if everyone's watching, hold on for 1 second. You're going to watch the stream disappear, but in like 30 seconds, it'll be up again. All right. Bye-bye for a minute.